Hello friends, welcome to my channel Botanical Studies. In this video, we will discuss about asexual plant propagation. Asexual plant propagation, it is also called as vegetative propagation, and it involves only vegetative parts like leaf, stem, root and other root producing plant organs without any sexual plant parts. Vegetative propagation is the formation of new individuals from the cells of a single parent. It is very common in plants but absent in animals. The vegetative methods most often used to produce trees are cuttings, air layering, grafting, and micropropagation. It requires the explants from the improved or selected mother tree. The new individual propagated through this method is true to type. The commercial important fruit crops are propagated by vegetative method. Asexual plant propagation. Importance and limitations of vegetative propagation. Importance. When the seeds fail to regenerate, vegetative propagation is the only method for regeneration in such plants. Vegetative propagation has advantages such as earliness, uniformity, as well as similar phenotypes over seed or sexual regeneration. True to type is the characteristic of vegetatively propagated population. Limitations. Plants like coconut and areca nut are difficult to propagate vegetatively. Hybridization is not feasible in vegetative propagated generations of plants. High skill and time are required in vegetative propagation of plants. Types of vegetative propagation. Vegetative propagation by using underground plant parts, that is natural, that is root, corm, bulb, rhizome, etc. Vegetative propagation by using above ground vegetative plant parts, artificial. Vegetative propagation by birds, by leaves, by tissues. Vegetative propagation by cutting includes hardwood cutting, semi-hardwood cutting, softwood cutting, and herbaceous plant parts. Vegetative propagation by layers, air layering, tongue layers, ground layers, mound layers, and trench layers. Vegetative propagation by budding, patch bud, ring bud, forked bud, and tea buds. Vegetative propagation by grafting, approach grafting, stone grafting, veneer grafting, and side grafting. Vegetative propagation by cutting. Cutting is the method of vegetative propagation in which the portion of stem, leaf, or root detached from mother plant induced to rooting and shooting in proper medium. Stem cutting, hardwood cutting in pomegranate, semi-hardwood cutting in hibiscus, softwood cutting in colchicum. Leaf cutting includes leaf blade cutting in bryophyllum, leaf vein cutting in begonia, leaf edge cutting in peperomia, leaf bud cutting in begonia, and root cutting in guava. Stem cutting, hardwood cutting. For obtaining hardwood cutting, 3 to 4 year old disease-free, vigorously growing mature plant should be selected. Cuttings from very young and very old plant or those subjected to heavy fruiting during the previous year should be avoided. Medium-sized stem having internodal length of 10 to 15 cm are desirable. 30 to 45 cm long cuttings of pencil size thickness with at least 3 to 4 nodes are cut from the middle portion of the selected stem. A cut should be made straight across 1 cm below the node at the lower end of the cutting, while slanted cut at the top is taken 2 to 3 cm above the bud. The cuttings are then immediately planted in bed or in polythene bags in the nursery. In case of delay in planting, the cuttings are stored by burying in moist sand or sawdust at 5 to 7 degrees Celsius temperature. Stem cutting, softwood cutting. For softwood cutting, apical main shoots or lateral side shoots are used. Cutting material should be flexible but mature enough. Lilac, Forsythia, Vigelia, Barberry, Potentiella, and Viburnum are some of the shrubs that may be propagated from softwood cuttings. When taking cuttings, Remove plant material with the sharp knife. Softwood cuttings should be approximately 4 to 6 inches long. Pinch off the leaves on the lower half of the cutting. Make a fresh cut just below the point where one or two leaves are attached to the stem, that is node, and then dip this base, that is cut end, of the cutting in the root propagating compound. Then insert the cutting approximately 2 inches deep into the rooting medium. After all the cuttings are inserted, water the cuttings and medium and let it drain. Inspect the cuttings daily. Re-moisture the cutting medium if it begins to dry. Rooting of the most deciduous shrub species should occur in 6 to 8 weeks. Use of plant growth regulators for rooting. Plant growth regulators are the chemical compounds other than nutrients, which are required in small or minute quantities to regulate, modify, or inhibit the plant physiological processes. There are 5 different types of plant growth regulators: auxins, gibberellins, cytokinins, abscisic acids, and ethylene. Out of that, auxins play important role in cell division and cell maturation and cell multiplication. They are used mainly for root initiation. For example, indole acetic acid, indole butyric acid, and naphthalic acetic acid. Auxins play an important role in the initiation of roots in cutting and also in air layering. A concentration of 500 to 1000 ppm auxins are used for quick dip method of treating cutting and by pasting linoline paste in air layering for species which are difficult to root. A concentration of 20 to 40 ppm auxins are used to the species which are rooted easily in guava, grapes, pomegranates, lychee, jamun, and fig, etc. Advantages and limitations of cutting. Advantages of cutting. This type of propagation does not require the special technique as like budding or grafting. There is no problem of incompatibility with rootstock, which is always shown in budding and grafting. In a little period of time, we will get more than 1 feet high plant. The general characteristic of plants propagated by cuttings are two types. Limitation of cutting. Certain fruit plants have difficulty in rooting. Possibility of mutation. Success differ largely according to the plant species and season. Vegetative propagation by layering. Layering is the method of vegetative propagation in which a good stem is induced to produce roots while it is still attached to the parent plant. In this manner, a new plant usually can be developed in a relatively short time and with less trouble than other methods of propagation. It can be used successfully on many plant trees and woody ornamental shrub. Types of layering: tip layering, simple layering, trench layering, compound or serpentine layering, air layering, and mound layering. Simple layering. In simple layering, the stem is bent to the ground. Cover the part of it with soil, leaving at least 6 to 12 inches exposed. Blend the stem into the vertical position and stack in place. The sharp bend will often induce rooting, but wounding the lower side of the branch or loosening the bark by twisting the stem may help. This method is successful with plants like rhododendron and honeysuckle. Air layering. In air layering, the branch to the propagated is girdled by removal of a ring of a bark 25 to 38 mm in width. It is advisable to scrape the surface of wood in the girdled area to remove the cambium. Otherwise, the area can heal over quickly and fail to make roots. The girdled area is then covered with a wet ball of sphagnum or coir dust. Then sphagnum or coir dust is covered with a sheet of plastic tied at each end and twined or with a sheet of aluminum foil tightly twisted closed at both ends. Callus and roots will form at the upper end of the girdled area in 6 to 8 weeks. When the roots are well formed, The air-laid branches are cut from the tree and either planted direct in the field or first planted in containers of soil and later set in the field. Plants commonly propagated by air layering includes the rubber plant, hibiscus, caliandra, oleander, crupine, that is pandanus, gardenia, croton, and bougainvillea. Advantages and disadvantages of layering. First, advantages of layering. The parent plant supplies the new individual with water and food, particularly carbohydrates, proteins, and hormones like auxin, particularly auxins, until it makes its own food and hormones. Comparatively, bigger plant could be obtained through layering. It is possible to avoid mutagenic effects in certain species that happens if propagated by cuttings. It is possible to generate few individuals of important species with minimum propagation facilities. It is possible to propagate difficult to root plant vegetatively. Disadvantages of layering. This method of propagation is limited to plants which form growing point readily. It is difficult to produce large number of plants through this method. In other words, this method does not use propagation material economically. This method is short but time consuming and little difficult in some cases. This method is laborious, cumbersome, and expensive. Vegetative propagation by grafting. Grafting is the joining of parts of plants together in such a way that they unite and continue to grow as a single plant. The part of plant that becomes the upper portion or the top of new plant is called as scion, and the part which becomes the lower portion that includes the root is called as stalk or rootstock. All methods of joining plants are called grafting. Let us discuss about the few terms. Scion. Scion is the part of mother plant used in budding and grafting to develop the fruit tree. It is an upper portion of the composite plant which forms the fruit-bearing part of the tree. Rootstock. It is the part of the original tree on which the scion is worked upon to produce the desirable tree. The scion and the rootstock from separate mother plant are considered for grafting and budding purpose. Several grafting methods via cleft, saddle, veneer, approach, root, whip, and tongue methods are practiced, while cleft or wedge grafting is the most common field level practice which assures more success. Grafting requires experience and practice. Cleft or wedge or V grafting. In cleft or wedge or V grafting, the top of the rootstock is cut off square and a vertical cut made in the center using a heavy knife or a special grafting tool. The scion is made up by cutting a long, gradual tapering wedge, holding the split open with a screwdriver or similar tool. One or two scions are inserted into the split so that the cambial layer are lined up with each other at least on one side or both sides in case of small plants of equal size. Wrapping and subsequent care is the same as for veneer graft, but the rootstock does not require cutting back and hence wound healing is faster. Make sure the scion and buds are not upside down. Approach grafting. Approach grafting is the unique because both the rootstock and scion remain attached to their root system during the grafting process. The scion is usually in a container which is brought to the rootstock. This graft is done while both partners are actively growing. It is a graft used when the scion is unique and the propagated does not want to remove it from the stock plant. It is also used when the standard graft have not been successful. Method on making an approach sliced approach graft tongued approach graft, inlay approach for different sized branches. Advantages and disadvantages of grafting. Advantages of grafting. The plants which cannot be propagated by other vegetative means via cutting, layers, or division can be multiplied, preserved, and perpetuated by grafting. Grafting can be very well adapted to convert inferior plants of established trees into superior ones. Variety of established plants can be changed by top working. Rootstocks influences size and vigor of tree and quality of fruits. Rootstocks impart disease resistance to the science. Some rootstocks are tolerant to saline and alkaline conditions and high moisture content of the soil. Bridge grafting or buttresses grafting helps to repair the damaged trunk or roots of the plants. Special form of plant growth obtained by grafting. Novelty can be produced in nature by growing several types of flower or fruits on a single stalk. Early induction of flowers and fruits. Disadvantages of grafting. New varieties can be developed. These are extensive method of propagation. They require specialized skill. The lifespan of grafted and budded plants is short as compared to seed propagated plants. Spread of viral diseases may occur through this method. Vegetative propagation by budding. It is the vegetative method of plant propagation and can be defined as an art or technique of inserting of scion, that is a single mature bud taken from a desired tree, in the rootstock in such a way that the union takes place, bud sprout, and the combination continues to grow. Budding differs from grafting in that only a single lateral bud is used instead of a portion of stem with several lateral buds as well as a terminal bud. The principal advantage in budding is that one terminal scion will furnish 5 or more buds for as many trees. The methods of budding: tea budding or shield budding, patch budding, forked budding, flute budding, ring budding, and chip budding. Tea budding. For doing tea budding, a vertical cut of 4 to 8 cm long is made on the stalk, and a second horizontal cut is made at the top of vertical cut. The bud is prepared by cutting into the scion. The shield can be 6 to 13 mm wide and 4 to 8 cm long, with the bud being located in the center. The bark of the tea cut of stalk is raised at the corner and along the vertical split to admit the shield. The bud is forced into the cut and under the edges of the bark, being careful not to split the bark. After insertion, the protruding handle of the shield is cut off with the horizontal cut at the top so that the shield can fit and slide completely into the cut made into the stalk. Buds are wrapped in 13 mm wide vinyl strip covering the bud completely. Examine bud in 2 to 3 weeks and rewrap, leaving the bud exposed if considered necessary. Cut back top of the rootstock gradually when bud began to grow, as well as any new growth below the graft. Patch budding. Seedlings of about 1 year age, pencil thick, uniform, and active in growth are selected for patch budding. This method is most satisfactory when vigorously growing plants with 1.25 to 2.5 cm in stem diameter are used as the rootstock. The trees from which buds are taken should be highly vegetative with lush succulent growth to permit easy separation of buds from the stem. It is better to take swollen and dormant bud from leaf exile of mature twig of the scion variety. A patch approximately 1 cm to 1.5 cm with a bud seems to be taken for better success. Similarly, 1 to 1.5 cm long patch is removed from the rootstock and the bud is fitted into the remaining portion on the stalk seedling. Bud should be fitted at a height of nearly 15 cm above the ground level. Polythene strip is used for keeping the buds close to the stalk. When the bark adheres tightly to the wood, budding is usually successful. The best time for budding is from May to August in different parts of the country. Advantages and disadvantages of budding. Advantages of budding. Budding saves the propagation material. Budding requires lesser equipments and raw material. Budding is useful in certain crops in which the grafting is cumbersome. Budding is little bit faster for operation and success. Disadvantages of budding. New varieties cannot be developed. These are extensive methods of propagation. They require specialized skill. The lifespan of budded plants is short as compared to seed propagated plants. Spread of viral diseases may occur through this method. Special vegetative structures. Due to the special vegetative structures, plants grow and develop naturally without human interventions. These structures have an important ability to develop adventitious roots. Through the formation of adventitious roots, new plants may sprout from stems, roots, or leaves of parent plant. Modified stems are most often the source of vegetative plant propagation. Vegetative plant structures that arises from the plant stem includes rhizome, runners, bulbs, tubers, and corms, as well as plantlets emerge from the plant leaves. Rhizome and runners. Rhizomes are the modified stems that typically grow horizontally along the surface of or beneath the ground. Rhizomes are storage sites for growth substances such as proteins and starch. As rhizome extends, roots and shoots may arise from segment of the rhizome and develops into new plants. Certain grasses, lilies, irises, and orchids propagate in this manner. Edible plant rhizomes include ginger and turmeric. Runners are also called as stolons, are similar to rhizomes in that they exhibit horizontal growth at or just below the soil surface. Unlike rhizomes, they originate from existing stem. As runners grow, they develop roots and form bud located at nodes or their tips. Interval between nodes and internodes are more widely spaced in runners than in rhizome. New plant arises at nodes where shoot develops. This type of propagation is seen in strawberry plants and currants. Bulbs and tubers. Bulbs are the round, swollen part of the stem that is typically found underground. Within these organs of vegetative propagation lies the central shoot of a new plant. Bulbs consist of a bud that is surrounded by layers of fleshy scale-like leaves. These leaves are a source of food storage and provide nourishment to the new plant. Examples of plants that develop from bulbs includes onion, garlic, shallots, hyacinth, daffodils, lilies, and tulips. Tubers. Tubers are vegetative organ that may develop from stem or roots. Stem tubers arises from rhizome or runners that becomes swollen from storing nutrients. The upper surface of tuber produces a new plant shoot system, that is stem and leaves, while the bottom surface produces a root system. Potatoes and yam are the examples of stem tubers. Root tubers originated from roots that have been modified to store nutrients. These roots becomes enlarged and may give rise to new plant. Sweet potatoes and dahlias are the examples of root tubers. Corms and plantlets. Corms are the enlarged bulb-like underground stem. These vegetative structures store nutrient in fleshy solid stem tissue and are typically externally surrounded by papery leaves. Due to their physical appearance, corms are commonly confused with bulbs. The major difference is that Corms contain solid tissue internally, and the bulbs have only layers of leaves. Corms produces adventitious roots and possesses bulbs that develops into new plant shoots. Plants that develop from corms include crocus, gladiolus, and taro. Plantlets. Plantlets are a vegetative structure that develops on some plant leaves. These miniature young plants arises from meristem tissue located along leaf margins. Upon maturity, plantlet develops roots and drop from leaves. They then take roots in the soil to form new plants. An example of plants that propagates in this manner is kalanchoe. Plantlets may also develop from the runners of certain plants such as spider plant. So this is all about asexual plant propagation.